Hi everyone. In this video I'm going to quickly show you how we can insert a header and footer inside of Microsoft Word and how to insert page numbers as well. Towards the end of the video I'll also show you how we can insert a different header and footer for the different sections of our Word document. So do watch the video till the end in order to be able to learn that. So let's get started. So in order to insert your header or footer, firstly you will have to enter into the insert section of Microsoft Word, and once you get into the insert section you will be able to see a header and footer section which consists of header, footer and page number. So in order to insert your new header you can just click on the drop down and you will see a variety of options for headers that are available over here which are built in, and you can go ahead and make use of any one of these as is. And in case I don't like the selection that I made, I can just go ahead and remove the header from the drop down over here, and I can go ahead and select another header that I want to. There is a first option which has only one column where you can also type explicitly if you want to enter some data of your own. And similarly there are also other options of where you can have three columns where you can, it's a blank kind of header where you can enter the text yourself. Also there are other options where there is like a page number, and in this manner you can go ahead and explore the different headers that are available. For our reference, let's just say that I insert a header which consists of three columns, but let's say I just want two columns where I type some text. Then I can go ahead and delete this so that it does not appear in the subsequent pages as well. If I delete it here, you will notice that it's gone from the other pages as well. Now let's just say I want to insert some content over here. To insert the content, you just double click over here and you can just type whatever you want to type over here, and you will notice that the same header gets reflected everywhere on the subsequent pages as well. Now let us say that the header that you want a separate header that looks very different for the first page from all the subsequent pages, and let's say on the first page I just wanted to say index instead of chapter 1, and from the next page onwards I wanted to say chapter 1. So in that case what can I do is, you will also notice that once you insert a header there is another header and footer tab that opens up over here which gives you an array of options to edit your header and footer. So from these options, within options you will see something called as different first page. So if I tick this option, what it does is it allows me to have a different header for the first page alone, and the subsequent pages will all have a similar header. So we can just tick this option and see what happens. Now it says first page header, and whatever is there from the subsequent pages, this continues on for the pages after the first page. So if I want to make it different for the first page, this is how I can do it, and type out an index right here. So in this manner, my first page header consists of index, but all my subsequent pages are going to consist of the header saying chapter 1. Now in the same manner, if I don't want it to be different for the first page, I can just uncheck this. Now for some reason, if I want the header to be different on the odd pages and the even pages, then there's an option for that as well. This becomes useful in the case of, let's say you're spiral binding a book, and when you spiral bind a notebook, you will usually see that all the even numbered pages come towards the left side and all the odd numbered pages come to the right side, and many a times you might want the header to look different on the left side and the header to look different on the right side. If you have read novels, storybooks, you will see that the left side page consists of a common header and all the right side pages consist of another common header. So if that's something that you're looking for, then you can also tick this option, and what it does is here you'll notice that it changes to odd page header and even page header. So I can go ahead and type a different header for the two pages. Now in the same manner that we've inserted a header, we can also go ahead and insert a footer. So in order to insert a footer, you can either find it within the header and footer section that has opened up after inserting your header, or you can also find it from the insert tab, but you will find it under the footer section. So in the same way, we can click on the drop down of the footer and select from an array of options that are available for us. There is either a footer with one column where you can type the text, or three columns, or again there are a lot of designer options of footers that you can go ahead and select for your footer section. You'll also notice that there are a lot of footers which consist of a page number option, and also there are footers which do not have a page number option. So you can go ahead and choose it based on your use case. For example, you can use this which does not consist of any page number at all. For our example, let's just say that I use a 3-column footer, and let's say that I don't really want this part of it, and over here let's say I do want a page number to be present. What will happen over here is if I just type the number 1, it's going to display 1 everywhere because it is a footer and the same thing gets replicated. But if I want the page number to be displayed over here, what I can also do is insert a page number. So we will just go ahead and see what page numbers are now. So within the same tab you will also be able to the page numbers, and And if you click on the drop down over here, you will notice that there are page numbers that can be inserted at different parts of the document. Either you can insert it at the top of the page or bottom of the page, or at the page margins, or at the current position. And under the top of the page, you will see that there are a lot of options of different ways in which the page number can be inserted, different appearances. So you can go ahead and select something that you like. For example, you can select this, which is coming at the top of the page. But if I don't want that, there's also something called as page margins. So if you use the page margins option, the page numbers will probably look like this. But if I don't want it to be like this, and let's say for my specific use case, I want to insert a page number right here. How can I do that? Is within this drop down of the page number, there's a current position option, which means that whatever page number style that I select will be inserted exactly where my cursor is placed. So since my cursor has been placed over here, I can go ahead and select a page number style that I like. I usually like something which says 1 of 1, 2 of 3, things like that, so that it also gives you an idea of how many pages the document totally has. So I can select that and also insert a page number at the specific selected location as well. And that's how you can insert page numbers. Now let's just say that on the left side over here of the footer, I just want to insert a date and time. There is also a date and time option over here, and I can select that. Over here, I can go ahead and select the format in which I want the date and time to be displayed, and let's just say I want to be displayed like this. Then there's something over here which says update automatically, which means that if I leave it unchecked, the date will not be updated and it will be frozen at 16th July. However, if I do check this box, what happens is every time I open the document, it is going to update the date to the latest date. So for my purpose, let me just select update automatically and click on OK. So what happens is today 16th July, and if I open this document tomorrow, then it is going to start displaying 17th July. Now that we've inserted our header and footer, we can also see another option over here which says you can move the header from the top or the footer from the bottom. This is basically the distance at which the header is present from the top of the page and the footer is present from the bottom of the page, and I can go ahead and increase these values if I want to. Since it's 1.2 centimeters above the bottom of the page, let's just say I want to increase it. You will start noticing that the footer starts moving up as I increase it. So if I can go ahead and do this, or since I don't want to really do that, I will just keep it the same. I can take the cursor and also type 1.25 back over here. And if you want to come out of the header and footer, you can just click on this close header and footer and exit out of that. Now that we've seen that, let us look at an interesting part of this video, which is how can we insert a different header and footer for different parts of the document. That is, let's say chapter 1 goes on for 5 pages and then chapter 2 starts from page number 6. Then how do I change the header and the footer from page number 6 onwards? So let's see how we can do that. Now let's say this says chapter 1 on page 1, and let's say on page 2 I want it to say chapter 2. How can this be done? In order to do this, we will need to split our Word document into sections, which is wherever we know that chapter 1 finishes, we need to ensure that chapter 1 comes into one section of the document and chapter 2 falls in the second section of the document, and so on and so forth. So how do we split our document into sections? In order to do that, let's just for our example consider that the chapter 1 is the whole of page 1 and chapter 2 is the whole of page 2. So I want chapter 1 to be on one section of the document and chapter 2 to be a second section of the document. So at the end of page 1, I want section 1 to end. How can I insert sections? For this, you will have to go into the layout tab of Microsoft Word, and over here you'll see an option which says breaks. If we click on the drop down over here, you will see an option called as section breaks, and over here I'm going to choose next page. What does this mean is that when I insert a section break over here, whatever is at the end of this wherever my cursor has been placed is going to be considered as the end of that section, and it is going to create a break over there to say that this section ends over here, and everything that comes after the cursor will fall into a section 2, and that section 2 is going to start on the next page. You can also choose for the next section to be continuous, which means that I will insert a section break over here, but section 2 will start continuously on the same page. But for my case, I want chapter 2 to begin on a new page or a next page. So I'm going to choose a section break with a next page option. And when I click on that over here, in order to know where I have inserted the section break, I can go back into the Home tab and select this Pilcrow option to be able to verify it. So when I select the Pilcrow option, I will notice that there is a section break over here, which means that everything, all the content that comes after this point where the cursor is placed is going to fall into a separate section. So this becomes section 1 of my document and this becomes section 2 of my document. Now talking about inserting a separate header, we will just go ahead and turn this off firstly, and you will notice that when you click on the header and the footer right now, because I have broken the document into sections, you will notice that the header option has changed to header for section 1, and if you go to the second part it says header for section 2. So what I can go and do is that I can go ahead and change the header for the section 2 onwards. And in order to do this, there is a very important step, because if I do just type chapter 2 over here, what is going to happen is that chapter 2 displays over here and chapter 2 displays in section 1 as well. So there is an important option that we need to keep in mind over here, is that inside the header and footer section and inside the navigation tab, you will see something called as link to previous. And since the link to previous is turned on right now, it basically means that you are linking two sections. So section 1 has been linked to section 2, and it means to say that when I turn this on, whatever is the header for section 1, I want that to be linked to the header of section 2, which means that the same header is going to continue for the two sections. If you hover over this, it is the same thing that Microsoft Word is trying to explain to you. So linking it to the previous section allows you to continue using the same header and footer for the next section as well. So in order to have a different header and footer for the two sections, what I will have to do is I will just undo what we have done right now, and what we have to do is I want the header and footer to be different. So when I place it over here, I will need to uncheck this. Right now it is turned on and I'm going to turn it off. Now that I have turned it off, it has not been linked. So you will notice that when I link it, it says, what it says is same as previous. But when I remove the link option, the same as previous goes away. So now what happens is, this is chapter 1 and I can go ahead and type chapter 2 over here. So since this is a new section, the header from here onwards is going to say chapter 2. And now that I've done it, the chapter 1 is not going to change since I have turned off link to previous. So this is how you can create a separate header, and in the same manner you can go ahead and also create a separate footer for the two parts of the document if you want to. However, if the footer is just going to consist of the date and the page number, then you might as well continue the same footer for all the parts of the document. However, you will have to change the header because it consists of a chapter name. So in this manner, you can go ahead and split your document into sections, so you're able to create a separate header or a separate footer for different sections of your document, so that you can break it down into chapters and use it. So do go ahead and try this out, and let me know if you have any questions in the comment section, and I'll try to help you out. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.